right. We heard that. We all heard that, right?
Yeah. Yes, Dave.
We all heard that, right? Okay. Let's go ahead and start off. This is going to be the midweek, the day trader versus midweek review for October the 15th, 2025, right? We're going to start off with the mindset session. I'm going to let me pull up my tablet right quick and let me uh let me get that one going real quick. And how's y'all week been so far? It's been kind of weird this week because a it's been like we had a short week because we got the Columbus Day, right? And Native American Day, right? So how you guys been trading this week?
I did something today, not yesterday.
Okay, okay,
It's really good.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at I'm trying to get me some more demo accounts
Hello.
started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a couple new people on here. I'm seeing Alexis. How you doing?
Hey. Oh, I was trying to see. I'm good. So you guys can hear me? I wasn't sure if my mic was working right.
Yeah. We can hear you.
Uh,
How you doing?
okay.
How
I'm
long
doing.
you been trading before, or just new to
Uh,
trade?
I mean, I'm new to it. I was just studying it a long time before I took the leap.
Okay, hold on one second. Before you took the leap. Oh, sorry. Before you took the leap.
Yeah, before I started actually doing it,
Okay. So
I
where'd
was
you
just
trade?
watching it.
What type of trading do you do?
Um, I mean, I just started doing like options, like with the regular stock market. I don't
Okay.
know anything about futures or
Uh,
forex or any of that.
Gotcha. That's no problem. How you do any? Do you do technical analysis? You do.
I'm
Uh,
starting to, yeah, learn how to do it.
okay.
I just now got kind of comfortable with just like putting in my positions and stuff like that. And so I've been studying the chart or
Okay.
the candlesticks, but now I'm trying to figure out how to set up my chart because I've been doing it from my phone, which my son says I don't need to be doing it like that
Your son is absolutely right.
because it's like I can't exit out of it quick enough.
Your son is absolutely right.
But I
Uh,
haven't figured out how to do that yet.
your son is a very smart young man. Okay.
But
And
that's
of
it.
course, Raji, what's up, cuz? What's up, man? What's up? What's going on with you? You ain't hearing me? That's cool. That's all right. All right. So the last session we talked about in the video y'all heard, that video is called Change Your Standards by Jim Rohn. And this is one that has stuck out to me, and it stuck out to me a lot because a lot of times we are kind of focused on, we always say, oh, I need to be more disciplined, I need to be more consistent, and we say all this kind of stuff. And we always talk about the motivation we need. We always talk about those are things we commonly hear, right? And we throw those.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, this is Raji. I'm sorry, I couldn't get y'all. I couldn't. Y'all couldn't hear me at first, but this is Raji. I'm just on it the first time. Came in on a great video.
Uh,
Oh yeah, but
okay.
you can continue, Corey. I was just trying to see can y'all hear me now.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so we did this session last week, but I didn't record it. So I told the guys I'm gonna do it again today. But it's just like, we always tell ourselves that we need to be more consistent, we need to be more disciplined, we need to be more motivated. We need an accountability partner. We say all these kind of words and we throw them out there. and they're all true, right? We always say we need to set our goals. We say all this kind of stuff, right? But a lot of times where we struggle is we don't know where to start. We know how to say, hey, I want to be a trader. We know that goal. We know how to say, I want to trade options. We know that goal. And we know how to take steps to go towards that process, right? But what happens is a lot of times that when we get that initial burst of energy, right? We get that initial push and we say we'll go out. Like some of us, nobody no, I'm talking about myself in particular. Like if there's a goal, like I'm good for being cold turkey type of person. Like if I said I want to stop doing something or I want to do something, I'll just wake up the next day and just do it, right? And I might do it for a couple of days, right? But every day goes by, that motivation goes away, that consistency goes away, that discipline goes away, and I'll end up whatever I started doing, I might not do it no more, right? And we all guilty of this, right? So what he talks about in this video is setting goals, but also setting the baseline. And an analogy that I'm using is the runner's guide, right? And what you're looking at in the screen is like, are you a runner, right? If you look at these three little drawings that I just made up, and these are just my notes, right? Am I a runner, right? In every one of these situations, from the top to the bottom, this person who we're looking at, it could be you, it could be Raji, it could be Cars, it could be Anna, it could be you, Alexis, right? Every one of these people we're looking at, when we're looking at this person, right? This is the same person who said that they want to be a runner, right? Let me get up my drawing tool. Mm, right? This person said he wanted to be a runner. And this person says that I want to be a runner. In all of these circumstances, right? That's this guy right here. I can draw better than this, but I'm just doing it for this, right? Every one of these circumstances is this same person saying that I want to be a runner, right? But what he hasn't done is he hasn't set a baseline, a minimum. He set the goal, right? And in this case, let's say the goal is I'm going to run, and over the next 30 days, I'm going to become a runner, right? In this first case, this person decided every day for this month, I'm going to run 0.01 miles every single day, right? In this case, this person said that I'm going to run 0.1 miles a day for those 30 days, right? This person says I'm going to run a mile for 30 every day for 30 days, right? This person said that I'm going to run 0.1 miles a day, right? But he only runs it on this day. He runs um 0.01 on this day. Then he runs 0.05 on this day. And then he closes it out on the last couple days and runs, what am I doing? Help me do my math. 7, 15.3, right? And he closes it out. This person says every day I'm gonna run 0.1. Then the next day he says I'm gonna run 0.1. Then the next day he says he's gonna run a mile. But he never does any of it. This is the same person under the same circumstances, but each scenario is different, right? Each one of the other runners has set some type of baseline, right? This runner is us in most cases. This is us in most cases. We're this guy, right? We say, I'm gonna eat better. I'm going to become a runner. I'm going to start trading. I'm going to cook every day for 5 days a week because I don't want to eat out no more. And every day that go by, and every day you go by, you are actually great with setting the goal because the goal is a great goal. But you've done it with no standard, with no baseline, with no average, right? This person, he set some type of baseline. He's still a runner, but he hasn't figured out how to move past his initial standard, right? This person, he's the one that has stuck the best to his goal. But hasn't he? And hasn't he? Right? They're all they're all they're all met their goal for the 30 days, right? They met their baseline in each one of these circumstances right here. Each one of these. They met their goal. They reached the baseline, right? And their baseline in this case was I'm going to run 0.01, 0.1, and 1 mile, right? This person, his baseline was here. But you can see he wasn't consistent with it, right? This person said his baseline was here. He changed his baseline here and he changed it right here. But he never stuck to it. And he never made any effort to go towards his goal, right? So we have to be the people to set a baseline, right? We have to start our goal. Once we figure out what our goal is going to be, we have to start to set the baseline. What's the worst you'll accept from yourself? What's the worst thing you'll accept, right? If it's going to the gym, if your goal is to get in shape, right? A good goal, right? That's a great goal, overall goal, right? That goal can be broken down into smaller goals, right? But the main thing you need to do if you want to get in shape is number one, work out, right? So, an easy way to have a goal when you're working out is to just show up, right? So, if I want to give myself a baseline, right? My baseline is simply work out every day. That's a baseline. I don't care about how fast I go, how long I go, how much weight I pick up. But if I'm going to the gym or I'm working out every day, that will get me further away from, and that'll get me further along my goal and towards my goal than this person, right? And this person, because if I'm just showing up every day, I've already beat these two people. I've already beat this person right here and right here because this person, he didn't show up at all for himself. This person right here, he showed up every now and then, right? But if I'm trying to get a goal, and if I'm just showing up, right? If I'm this person, I'm still better than these two guys because at least I'm showing up, right? And once you get to that point where you're at least showing up for your goal, you can work on compounding that goal, right? You can work on going from 3 miles to 30 miles in a month. You can work on going from 30 miles to 60 miles in a month because at that point you've met the minimum that you're willing to accept from yourself, right? And so uh where are you within the standard, right? Where are you within those standards that you made from yourself, right? Are you the person that's going to continue to say, hey, I'm gonna do this goal, I'm gonna be this person that works out or shows up for trading, that takes a trade, that studies charts, but are you gonna be the person that does it every now and then, right? If you're doing it every now and then, you're only pulling yourself further away from whatever you're trying to accomplish, right? And until the next burst of energy you get, right? The next time you get motivated and you feel the energy to go 5 days straight on something, right? The next time you hear somebody talking about making money on trades, right? That's going to be the next time you get the energy or motivation to do something, or the next bad thing to happen to you, where you hear something about the news and or you lose a job or something along those lines. The next bad thing happens to you and you get that oh shit moment. You get that, oh man, I gotta figure something out. I gotta figure out what to do. I don't have no choice at that point. And all of a sudden you got a lot of energy, you got a lot of motivation, you got a lot of discipline, but how long would that last, right? What is our minimums, right? What are our minimums? What do we need to establish our minimums? I use an example when I was in the military, right? And we would, go out on our missions or go do a land navigation course. And, you know, just because you set an initial minimum, right? That minimum doesn't have to stay the same, right? As you progress, that minimum should always progress as well, right? As you get closer towards the goal, your minimum can't be that, you know, I am still running point zero miles anymore, right? Because now you've proved that you can do 0.30 miles, right? So the next time or next day or next week or next month, your minimum needs to move up along with your goal, right? If when I'm doing a land navigation course, you always want to, as if you have a target or a destination you need to get to, you have to leave yourself markers, right? So that way you don't get lost, right? And it's the same thing, right? If my goal is for me right now to walk from where I live to Stone Mountain, and I don't have GPS, I don't have a map, I don't have any of that thing. I just know that I need to go to Stone Mountain. And in order for me not to get lost, I need to hey, I need to write on this tree to say if I ever come back to this tree, I know I gotta go. I've already gone the 5 miles to get to this tree. I know that I've gone that far along. So if I don't need to go all the way back to the beginning to know that I need to go east, right? As long as I can get back to this tree, I know that I've gone at least 5 miles, right? Then the next time I get to another big landmark, right? Maybe I've gotten to a store I'm familiar with, right? So I got 2 mile markers. I got two minimums, right? I got a tree and a store that I know that if I ever get lost, I can come back to that point. So that way I don't have to start all over, right? You have to use these type of things to set a new standard, set a new minimum. Every time you get further and further away from your goal, you have something to return to, right? Then after that, you got to figure out like what are some things that I know if I'm working towards this goal, they might throw me off, right? So, what are some traps, right? What are the mental traps? What are the physical traps that might come up? And that's not showing up at all is one. That's the main thing. Because if you're not showing up for yourself at all, you'll never get your goal completed. You'll never be able to say that I'm working towards what I'm trying to do. And then, like I'm gonna use Tree's example again, right? Tree said that I want to be a person to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, right? And she told me the other day, I don't remember if she told me this or not, but I'm pretty sure she did. Woke up 5 days straight, and on the sixth day, she didn't make her 5 o'clock wake up. Right? She had something that came up, or she was really tired. Right? So she's done 5 days straight, and if her goal is to go ahead and at least over the 30 days, if she was to do this every day for 30 days, that means she's woken up for at 5 a.m. every day for 30 days, right? That means for 30 times she's done this, right? If she missed one day and she finishes and then she goes on and restarts and she does 5 more days, then 5 more days, and she only missed those 2 days, is she, which person is she at this point? Is she the person who's down here that never started their goal? Is she this person? Is she this person? Or is she this person, right? Either way, she's is she closer to this guy if she's done 28 days straight, or is she closer to this guy who's done 28 days straight? Because if we're looking at this, we're not trying to worry about being perfect. We're trying to get as close as we can to getting our goal, right? So if she did everything, if she ran 1 mile every day and only missed 2 days, she still ran 28 miles. She still ran 28 miles. And if she was running, you know, point 1 mile every day, she still ran 2.8 miles if she was the person that was running 3 miles. I don't know about you, but I'm okay with running 28 miles in a month if if it's gonna be me getting closer to that 30 miles, right? Because now I know that I can do a mile every day. I know that now. I've proven it to myself. And without worrying about being disciplined, consistent, you just said, like, as long as I do my minimum, I'll get towards my goal, right? And that's the way you got to train your mind to think now, right? Then a lot of times, one of the other things that we do to ourselves is we'll get that burst of energy, we'll get that motivation, that discipline, and whatnot, and then we'll miss a day, right? And that missing that day or that week or however long we miss turns into us, missing more, a lot more time than we thought, right? And we turn that into a negative, right? We turn that into a negative, and we think that because we missed that day, it just ruined our whole goal, right? It just ruined our whole mindset and our whole thought process about it, right? So what we got to do is we have to change how we frame our negativity, right? So instead of saying, right, okay, you did 5 days in a row, right? Your goal was 30, right? You can now change that from saying, damn it, I didn't meet my goal because I missed 2 days. I missed 2 days, right? I'm such a horrible person. I'm such a bad person. I missed these 2 days. I didn't get my 30-day streak, right? And that's how we think most of the times. We don't think about the fact that we just did the 28 days, right? So instead, you have to say, man, I did not reach my 30 days, but I did reach 28. So, or whatever the case is, I woke up 5 days out of the 7 at the 5 a.m. start, right? That's how you rephrase that. So now that you've seen that you can do this, now you've proven to yourself that you can meet your minimum. Now you can continue along the same road, right? If I keep meeting my minimum, I can take away the negative thoughts. I can take away that negative behavior, that negative uh, feeling that you have when you don't do what you say you're gonna do, because it gets easier to reach your minimum as once you start considering it in a positive way, right? It gets easier. You get the positive dopamine that you need in order for you to keep doing this, right? Appreciate we don't appreciate the small wins that we get, right? And it goes back to what I was just saying, right? I have to kind of use my small wins to motivate me and help me stay meeting my minimum, right? So if you think about certain things, right? I was disciplined in certain areas, right? I'm a person that, like, I want to learn Spanish, right? And one of the ways that I want to learn Spanish is I've been using Duolingo, right? And on one of my goals is to be fluent, right? And a small win for me is every single day I try to do at least 5 minutes on Duolingo, right? And sometimes I miss, sometimes I don't, but I still have a streak going right now, right? My streak is like I've done this every day, at least for 5 minutes, for like 1,000 and something, almost 1,500 days in a row. It don't sound like nothing huge, right? Because you guys could take it as like, oh, that's cool, you know. But for me personally, just to say that I've done something for 1,500 days, almost 1,500 days in a row, that's huge. That David Goggins, he says you need a cookie jar, and you need a cookie jar for putting the good things that you do for yourself into that jar. And you sometimes when life get hard, when things get hard, you may have to dig into the cookie jar to help you get through a hard time in your life, right? You know, when things get really, really difficult and things seem really don't really seem a lot very positive around you, you're in a negative situation, you're in a bad environment, you may need to remind yourself that you can do whatever you're still trying to do. You may need to say like, oh man, you know, this is really hard for me to run 5 miles a day, you know, and you know, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I know that I was able to do my Duolingo for 1,500 days in a row, you know, so you know, I know I can do this, you know, I know I can show up for myself and show up for my goal, right? And then the last note is allowing distractions to revert us back to our old standards or to operate without one at all, right? That's why we need the standard. We need a minimum, right? Because nobody on this earth operates on at 100 at on all times. Nobody. It's not even physically capable for people to operate on 100 every single day, every single hour, every single minute, right? People operate more along the lines of I got 2% today. I got 100% the next day. I got 50% for this week. And I'm operating at the most I can operate over this month, but I'm only operating at 25% capability, right? And if we get to those points, right, we don't have nothing that sets those bars as to what the lowest output we will allow for ourselves. Sometimes when you have a goal and you're not operating at 100%, it's okay for you to only operate at 20%, right? If you're trying to lose weight and you know you only work and your goal is to work out for an hour every day, if I did 15 minutes, sometimes that's all I got. Sometimes that's all I might have. That's all I got. I'm trying to give you the best that I got, right? And sometimes 100% just ain't gonna do it, right? You never gonna get there that day because you could have had your kids had you out all day. You could have been at basketball practice with your kid. You could have been at piano practice all day. Came home. You could have worked 12 hours shifts. Then got the kids. Then had to drive through an hour of Atlanta traffic. And you looking at yourself in the mirror, in the rearview mirror of the car, and you like, I'm still supposed to work out. I'm still supposed to do something for myself? Yes, you are. Because your minimum may may be all you can do that day. Your minimum may be all you can offer to today, right? Maybe instead of working out an hour, you just drop down and do 5 minutes worth of push-ups, you know, or 10 minutes worth of push-ups, or and then go for a 15-minute walk, right? You still did something. You still did something. And the more times you do that, it gets easier the next time when you don't have 100%, right? So I'm going to leave it on that note, right? And I want you guys to think about this. Like, whatever your goal is, whether it's trading, whether it's cooking, running, speaking a new language, learning how to write code, you know, learning how to cut hair, I don't care what it is. You need to find the bare minimum for yourself. And if you are operating with a goal, right? don't operate towards your goal without a bare minimum. Because if you operate without a bare minimum, you're gonna operate at zero. All right, cool.
Yeah, got it. Oh,
Feedback.
Get it?
I do have one, I guess more of a statement about and building on what you just said. That Jim talked about in that clip. I watch that every day now. Because one of the things he said was and you kind of talked about it, was like you have to build a system around your standard. And what that has helped me with was that, like, I was struggling with, I go good for 5 days and shoot, I'm tired and I don't get up at 5 a.m. And I beat myself up. I beat myself like, dang, I should have went to bed last night. I should have did it. But I had to think about, like, what's preventing me from actually achieving that or getting off track. And I found myself, I'd be scrolling on IG, or I'll watch a little bit of TV too late past my bedtime. And so I said, okay, all right, here's my new set time to go to bed at 10 o'clock. My TV has to be completely off. I had to move my phone across the room. That's my alarm. So that when the alarm goes off, I have to physically get out the bed.
Yep.
And so when I got out the bed, I was like, dang, well, I'm up now, so I might as well go ahead and get going. So I had that was my thing that kind of helped me over this week. Because building that system really is like, okay, it's setting a new habit to make sure that you get it done. And the biggest thing is just like, when I messed up, it's like, okay, I can't beat myself up so much. I gotta just let it go, move on, just don't do it again the next day.
And trees, like, but it helps you to get back to the standard.
Yep.
It help you, right? So you ain't gotta be like starting from scratch every single time, right? Because you building the systems in to help yourself get back on track.
Yeah.
I like how you said that, man.
Yeah. Got to build it.
I'm always using you as an example because you the last person to talk about it. That's why.
I don't mind.
All right.
All right. But no, I appreciate it, because it's been a good reality observation for myself, and helping me set these new goals and standards and actually accomplish some of these things that I've been saying for the past year, 2, 3 years, and I haven't done it. Yep.
I know Anna got some. I know Anna do. Gonna come off mic, off mute.
Like, sometime I use like, okay, as it said, like, whenever you do anything, your habits become disciplined, right? So for me, like, I think 1.5 years ago, I heard something like, uh, if you are a trader, you should follow like how big traders are doing, who is good, what are their routine and what are they doing, right? So somewhere I listen like ICT is waking up at 3, and uh, like then I started to make it at 5. But yeah, definitely I can't make it every day, right? But thing is, like, when you do something religiously, right, then it is in your mind, and it comes automatically. One day or 2 day, like, if you are tired, like sometime I am tired, I am a mother, and I have other responsibility also. So sometime when I get tired, and I woke up at about 5:30, right? Then I think, okay, means I feel like I did something wrong, means it should not happen. I need to wake up by 5, and then do my meditation, gratitude, everything. Means before 7, I have to do everything. Because, like, I have my son, he goes to school, and I have to make that lunch and everything. So before that, I want to make my chart is ready for 8 o'clock. Right. So now, since I am doing so many days. So it's like my habit now. If I don't do that, then I don't feel comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like since 2 days it was like some festival and all those things, so I miss those days. But like somewhere I am not in myself, right? I'm not feeling good. So today
Right.
I did everything right. Then means yesterday I was so lazy. I was just lying down here and there, and I was asking to my husband, I think I have some vitamin deficiency or something, why I'm feeling like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
yesterday I woke up at 7, right? So today when I woke up at 5 and till 7 I did everything, uh, then I was feeling good, right? So
Right.
means something like this is now in blood,
It's
and now
programmed.
I have
It's
to do that.
ingrained now. Yeah, it's ingrained now.
Yeah,
You rewiring your whole mental aspect. You're rewiring your mentality towards your goal.
right, right.
You're moving closer towards where you're trying to be versus where
Mhm.
you were when you weren't doing these things.
Yeah. So
Because you
like
set the
one.
bar.
Mhm.
You setting the minimum. The minimum is I do ABC, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And if I am not able to do A, B, and C, you don't feel right no more because you've already programmed yourself to accept that the
yeah.
minimum is A, B, C, and D. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're not doing any of those or you just doing A, you're not gonna feel right, right?
Right,
Because you
right.
just gone and reprogram yourself. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
let me go ahead and get on the charts, right? Because I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
make this a longer session, right? So
Yeah.
let me get on. And for the new people, did y'all getting what y'all need out of this? Like y'all understanding why we like to start with the mindset and stuff like that first, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's a wonderful session, brother.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna start out with news. We we had Trump Friday. We had him
I
tweet.
want to ask, right? Last Sunday we were checking this forex factory, right? And we saw that there was a CPI today, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna talk about it.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it.
okay.
So first thing, we got to kind of go back what happened on Friday into Monday, right? Friday into Monday, Trump on Truth Social said that um, we were going to we were being taxed hit with tariffs of 100%, right, by China, right? When
Mhm.
he was gonna hit China with 100% tariffs. Then immediately on Sunday, he rolled all of that back. So what happened on Friday was we had this huge sell-off on Friday because of that news. Then he retracted the statement and then we bought right back up. Then going into the rest of the week, we've had financial earnings released for this week as well. So we had him retrace his statement. We had him send out the tweet. We had earnings for financials, and all the earnings so far on the financials have been good, right? So we've had kind of a mixed outlook for the market. Then, as Anna mentioned before, because the government shut down, we're not getting all the economic data that we supposed to get, right? We
Okay,
we should have gotten our CPI, PPI news, which is consumer price index. That's what the feds use to determine like whether or not they're going to raise interest rate, and how much they're going to raise interest rate. And Fed Chair Powell put out in a statement on Tuesday. He said that because of the lack of data that he's been given because of the government shutdown, he may not lower the rate as expected, right? And when we're in a situation where we don't have the details that we need in order to make decisions, as the Fed chair, he can't really it's easier to pause on lowering and increasing the rates versus based off of no information than to make a a rate change without all the details, right? And if he gets the details, it's going to be delayed to whenever we open the government back up. So that was that's kind of why we've been getting this kind of up and down movement over this past week. And when we go to the charts, you'll see that dollars kind of stalled out. Gold is just pushing up. When you see dollar stall out and you see gold pushing up, that's usually because uncertainty, right? That's usually because the market doesn't know where it's going to go, right? And if gold is going higher and higher and higher, that means that people are putting their money into more secure funds, right? So that's usually what that's a sign of, right? We still have earnings left for that came out today. We had financials. We already saw Morgan Stanley and Bank of America. They beat earnings. Pretty much all the financials beat earnings. I haven't gone back to see exactly who's beat, but for the overall, if we look at the sectors, right? Let me refresh this. Our financial sectors, for the most part, is green, but you see the big heavy ones. Where we got Bank of America. This is Berkshire Hathaway. They're down, but I ain't worried about them. That's Warren Buffett. MasterCard is down, JP Morgan, Visa. But overall, we got pretty much evenly distribute the sector pretty much up still, right? We just got our heavy sectors, heavier companies up. But it's kind of 50-50 overall, right? So that kind of leads us back to our, indecision. Let me send y'all this. Let me send y'all this because I know some people didn't have this. Let me drop it in the group. Where we at, chat? Where we at, chat? Where is the chat? Okay, it's right here. The last
Corey,
time I'm dropping all this in the wrong chat, but here you go. What's up,
Corey,
Corey?
let me ask you a quick question. The gray areas, those are the companies that have made any movement, positive or negative.
Positive or negative? They closer to zero.
Oh, okay, but it's still like is they could you consider that breaking even or staying in the
Pretty
black?
much. Yep, breaking even. Staying in the black is a term that they use when something down.
Okay, cool. All right.
But you'll notice like this T-Mobile right here, right? That's at 0.02%.
I'm
That's
trying to
pretty much
see
flat, right?
where you pointing at.
Right here on the screen.
Okay, I see it. Yeah.
Right here.
Mhm.
But 0.55%, that's pretty much flat too, but it's on Tesla, right?
Okay.
That's why this one red and that one's gray. Because this
Okay.
company is a heavier company to the stock market than T-Mobile is.
Okay. And the deeper the red, the heavier the heavier loss that they take.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep.
Okay, and vice versa with the green. That's the more gains that I made, right?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And again, I just dropped that in there too. So we still got interactive brokers. That's my broker, so I gotta pay attention to them. The big ones, we still got a couple banks left. We got Ollie on Friday. We got Regions, Huntington. So we still got some heavier, heavier-ish financials left. We got American Express. So those are some that I'll pay attention to. I don't own any financial stocks or what I do own some Charles Schwab. But I don't own enough of these to really pay attention to these too much left. But mostly I won't be paying attention to the earnings. I'll just be paying attention to the group. Individual earnings right now, I'm not really worried about. I want to know what the group is doing right now versus what the actual companies are doing, right? Because the group itself is finance. I just want to know, since this week we got a majority of financial stocks reporting, I need to make sure I know what the finance group is doing, right? So that's what I'll be paying attention to. Uh I'm gonna start with the stocks. I don't have any new setups. We still inside of the range we mentioned on Apple. Um this was for Christine. I don't think Christine on today, but let me see. Is she on? Nah, Christine ain't on today, but nothing on Apple of yet. It's still kind of sitting around. It's actually at a decent area to buy from, but I don't think I'm interested in it. I actually want to see what if we take out this previous week low before I look to do anything on Apple. And I'm not really looking towards Apple anyway, to be totally honest. That was more so along the lines of for Christine, right? Then on Delta, my Delta positions are closed, but if you guys are in any Delta options still, you can see where we thought we were going to buy from. It pretty much is buying again from there. And we leaving this low, this 55.72 low, which it gives me it gives me a lot of hope that we'll go ahead and take out this 63.91, especially if we can get above this Thursday candle. That was the candle we for earnings, right? So they reported earnings. They beat earnings on the ninth, and it dropped. It pushed up initially, and then it just dropped. I think that was more Trump because the outlook was positive, the earnings was positive, and the revenue was positive, right? So everything that you want to see as far as why this should go up, it happened, and then we got the negative news from Trump. So if you're still in this, I would still hold. Um, I'm not. So, um, but this is the chart. Let me drop the chart for Apple. I'm gonna drop
You
it in
bought
the.
new Delta or old one?
Huh?
You had a Delta or you bought new one?
I didn't buy any new
Okay.
Delta options. I once I hit 100% on those, I closed out.
Mm-hmm.
This is Delta though. Like I don't know if you were still in or if
No,
anybody.
I'm not.
If you still in, I think we hit that 63.91. And I think we were in that 60, we were in the October 10th,
Yeah.
17th.
Mhm.
I closed my October 17th options already because again they hit 100%.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm in Neo only.
You still in Neo? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still in Neo too.
Yeah, I'm selling Neo as well.
Okay, okay. So I remember I was in the 60, I was in the 58 and the 62. I think the 50. Let me look at my phone right quick. Let me see. I was in the Delta contract at whoa. Let's see. For the new people, I know you might not understand this. If you got any questions, just turn your mic on. Like I don't care. I'll answer whatever question you got. Don't feel like you know can't ask a question. If you got any stocks you want me to look at, or you got anything, any futures or whatever it is you want me to look at, just put it in the chat. Turn your mic on, ask the question. So I had the $60 Dallas Delta. I had the 62 and the 58. One was 50, one was two. Okay, yeah. So all of these are done for it, right? Okay. But I think I just dropped that one. So now we'll go over Neo. This is one I'm still in, right? I only got two contracts left on Neo. But I want to add on to Neo because I think we still gonna go after that high. Before we by the time we get to the May 15th. So I'm in the May 15th Neo contract. I am in the 10 and I'm in the 8 and I'm in at 130 on the 130 on the Neo $8, and I think I'm in at like 140. So I'm down on the $10 contract. I'm still up on the $8 contract. Um, I still think we might. I want to add on to this because, but I'm not ready to because I haven't. We haven't seen any more buying come into the market yet. This last week's low. Last week's low. Weekly low right here. 66. Since we so close to this 66, 666, ew, gross. And this is where we close. We pretty close to this 666 number, the 66 low. So I think it's a chance we still go ahead and take out that 650, trade into this 650 to 622 range. There's this gap right here. I think we might want to come down into. If we do that, I might add on the contract here at 650 to 622 area. Worst case scenario, I still think we could come down to this 587 to 554 area. And then, then I'll try to buy. But I'll probably add on another contract here or another couple here and some maybe some down. I like them as a company overall, so that's kind of why I'm still rocking with them. And then if we do get in, my target's still gonna be up here to take out this $8 high and try to get this 825 price point, right? Again, that's the May 15 contract, so 2026. So we got plenty of time to actually look at this to see how it manifests. So this won't expire till next year. So, like I like looking at these contracts on this one, on leaps because they give you time to work with it. You might have a longer term outlook on this, right? What's going on right here? What's going on, buddy? Try this one more time. Sir, what are you doing? Give me 1 second. Not working. What are we doing? Did I? What the heck is going on? All right, let's try this one more time. There we go. Okay. That's Neo. Okay. Right. And then I'm still in NVDA. So I'm still in NVDA. We're at a buying point right now. Went ahead and took out last week's low. It's in an area that I would like to see it buy from between 180 and 177, but I don't like the way this candle just took out this low. So we just took out this low from Friday. We gapped up, but then we took out that low again on this candle, and now we closing below this low. So I'm not ready to add any more onto this. And now we got a gap right here. And I think that this gap needs to be traded to and through before we try to really look for any strong buying again. So
I have a quick question.
sure.
Because like I said, the technical part, I'm still learning all this, and I don't use you have Trading View and you have it linked to what account do you use? Like what
Well,
brokerage do you use?
I have brokers with Interactive Broker and Robinhood.
Okay. So I
And
was using Robinhood. That was one question. And the other question is, what did you bought a call option? Is what I'm
yep,
assuming.
yep.
Okay, and you bought it for at what price did you buy it at? Because
On NVDA,
yeah, this chart you got up.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you
So,
got these 3 arrows, meaning you bought 3 different call options.
no, this just the direction I think we're gonna move in. So on when I'm drawing these arrows and stuff like that, this is where I'm expecting price to drop to, right? I like
So
this.
where did you buy it? Or you haven't bought it yet?
I already bought these. I bought these. I bought calls on Nvidia on the at the beginning of October. I've already closed out the majority of it, and I just got like one or two that still left. I want to buy some.
Wait, but on this chart, the one that you bought, is it showing on here or
No,
no?
no, no,
Oh,
no. You can't see.
these are just the levels that you wanted
Yeah,
to.
these are just the levels that I'm looking at. So
Okay, I get
when
it now.
when I buy my options and when I look for my option setups, before I buy anything, you need to know where the market's going to go or get an idea where the market's going to go. And
Yeah,
like you said, you're new, so and you're not really into the technical aspect yet. But for me, and for the people who I, teach and stuff like that, before you start to buy anything, I want you to get an idea of where what should be the expected levels, right? So
yeah.
I
I
think that
understand that. I just don't know how to do it technically on the computer.
right.
Like
Yeah.
I just eyeball it. I know that's bad, but it's because I'm just starting. But like, and I only trade the same stock, which is the SPY, because I'm just trying to learn it. So I
Okay.
watch what it does every day, and
Okay.
if it goes down, or if it's too high, I might short it. Or if I know it's going below a certain level, then I'll buy it and do a call option. But I
Hmm.
don't know how to do like I don't know how to do what I'm visually doing in my head. I don't know how to do it on the computer.
That's no problem. That's no problem. Do you have a trading view account yet?
Ooh, that's the next step that I was gonna start doing.
Trading view, you can just go and just get the free account at least. Yeah,
But no,
just
I don't want to stop your teaching.
So,
But I was just
oh, it's okay. It's okay. You just sign up under the free account at tradingview.com, set that up, and it'll give you like your initial accounts, access to get open up any of these charts, right? You can see SPY, you can see all that kind of stuff. But like the rest of the stuff you see in the drawings and all that kind of stuff, that's just me plotting out my levels, right? That's this arrow is me expecting it to go to a certain price point. This arrow is basically saying that, a blue means that I think is gonna buy. A red means that I think is gonna sell, right? And I think that from the last close, which is October the 15th, I think that we could see price go down to as low as this level right here. And we could buy anywhere in between this point from here, here, or here. That's basically what this is saying.
okay.
Not got it. So like
Mhm.
on this chart, I think that anywhere in between this price range right here, we could be buying. Just like I think anywhere between this price range, we could be buying. But I also see that there's a gap in price, and a gap in price usually is an area where, something happened, right? And usually those give you some kind of reaction. So I also think that if we bought up to this point inside of this range, that we could also sell from there too, because of what we just did inside of here. We just gapped really, really far to the downside. And because we gap so far to the downside, you'll notice that a lot of times when we come into these gaps, they feel it or they try to feel it, and then it sometimes it get rejected. You can see that happen right here, right? This gap right here between 170 and 176, right? It gapped up to the upside from this price point right here. It gapped up. And then after it got to a certain point, it even got to another gap over here. I didn't even see that. And then as soon as it got to that, it sold off, right? But where did it sell off to, right? It sold off to fill up this gap right here. And then when it got to that point, the lowest point right here, it wicked down a little bit. But for the most part, the body of the candle stayed inside of this wick, inside of this gap, and then it just shot up from there, right? Then the cycle kind of repeated itself, right? It gapped up right here, and then it left the gap, shot up again, came all the way back down, and traded into the gap that we left over here. And you'll notice, right? You'll notice again, like the candle traded down into this area. The body, for the most part, stayed above that price point, and then we just pushed up from there. So a lot of times, I like to mark these areas off on my chart because a lot of times the gaps they come back to these areas. You can see that's where we are right now. Right now we're in a gap, right? And some signs that we might be using this to push up is seeing a wick, like we seeing right now. This could be a sign that we maybe we push up from here because we already starting to wick and right around the middle of it. And the middle of the gap is 179, 179.06, right? So that's why you'll see a lot of times on my charts in particular, I like trading gaps because I know that there's a big possibility that they're just going to come back into those areas and try to use it again. When I don't like to see is you see a gap like this, and then instead of it pushing up off of this area, we close below it like we did on these two candles, right? So that's a sign that we may not be buying off of this area, at least not for the moment, right? At least not for the moment. We might not get that move. So instead of us buying from it, you can use the same levels to sell off from there too. So that's why you see that move right there. So all these red and blue lines right now, those are just my projections of where I think we could go on the chart. And you may see, you may see it look a different way on another chart. You may see, you know, um, you may see a couple of different ways you might see this drawn, right? But all I'm doing is basically saying that if I get to any of the areas where I see the price move to, that's where I'm expecting to get some kind of reaction. So if we stay in the range we're in right now, which is 180.42 down to 177.69, if I see us start to hold in here, I may take a buy. I may buy a call option, a long call, right? In that area. If I see us dropping, right? I don't want to see us fall below 172.64 to 174 because that's the next area I would look to buy. If I see us start to close below this, then I can assume that we really trying to sell off, right? And I want to see some confirmations to say, hey, all right, cool. I'm seeing some wicks. I'm seeing some bullish candles. I want to go ahead and buy. and I'll go ahead and enter on that trade, right? That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. Um, as far as what contracts did I choose to pick to buy long calls or buy puts or anything, I mostly just buy calls. I don't really go short a lot. But I go short on my futures and forex plays and crypto and stuff like that, but not so much on options. I like to do leaps. I like to get contracts that expire two between 2 weeks out to 2 years out, right? I don't really do zero DTE, which is they expire the same day, zero day expiration. But you can take this same approach that I'm using to do the same thing. Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
noticed leaps are way less stressful.
It is. It is. You
Mhm.
if especially if you do um get your direction off of the higher time frames, right? If I'm just looking at the daily, weekly, and the monthly, and I get my leaps and I get my direction good, I don't even have to look back at that thing sometimes. I can just wake up and just be in money, right? And that feels a lot better sometimes than jumping on the charts every day. But what I want you to do is I don't know if you're in my Facebook group or not. Um let me see. Alexis, are you in there? Are you in my Facebook group?
So, Corey, the longer the contract, the better it is for you.
I mean it depends on what I'm trying to do. This you, Alexis?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's me.
Under guide, right?
Hmm.
So you on Facebook in the side of the group, go to guide,
Okay.
and
Right now,
then I mean if you want to now or later, this is what I
I'll
want.
wa- I'm gonna watch you do it.
Okay, so under in the Facebook group, go to guide, and then
Hmm.
there are a bunch of different videos from you got all the videos that I have done to go over the weekly outlook and the midweek outlook like I'm doing right now.
Hmm.
They're all in here, right? But then
Okay.
there like are some foundational videos in here, like how to a checklist, understanding your trades through your history, identifying price and trend direction, consolidation. These are some videos you can watch. Um, Another guide is trade confirmation checklist. My homegirl, she did these. Um, you have some mindset guides, some a risk calculator, just a lot of different stuff you can look at to follow through how to look at the charts, right? And then I'm gonna do another couple of like basic series too. Um, so you can watch it and watch that. It'll all be under the guide section, right? And that is all in here, right? So I suggest you kind of go through, especially the foundational stuff, and then I'm sure you'll have some questions, and especially this guide for the guide for that'll give some basic stuff, and then in the media in the files, right? Um, Under the files, there's a couple of books I'll recommend, which is the Candlestick Bible.
I
Uh,
read. I have that.
you read it?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. This is great. You can also get this Japanese candlestick. That'll help you learn like basics too, just a little past basic. Um, Understanding price action. These are some in there. And then the other resource is
Do you use a scanner?
no scanner. No scanner. Um, Pay confirmation checklist. I'll drop a couple of more in here. I got some new stuff to add in here, but just start with guide 4 for now. Guide 4. So this is the one right here, foundation series, and then I am going to do some more advanced sessions where I'm talking about some advanced topics, but then I'll do like some basic stuff too, like how to set up your trading view and stuff like that too. So um which I haven't done it in a long time, and I think I got videos on it already. I just haven't updated those in a while. So I do have a YouTube channel. You can watch that too. Um I don't have a lot of it public anymore. But I think I have some basics on there. It's been quite some time since I've been doing the basic stuff, but this is my YouTube page. And then there are some how to, like this how to, it's 2 years old. I need to update it, but I'm sure you can get some value out of that too. So I'll drop that in there too. When it, Anna, I know who to ask. Anna, when the last time you looked at this?
What?
Any of these like basic videos?
Last time? I don't remember. Last year I did,
Man,
not this
I
year.
don't even know what it is. I remember I did this so long ago. Get
Mhm.
all these people on here, man. That's so crazy.
After this, you made so many, so
Yeah, yeah.
not exactly I'm watching this one.
Okay. Yeah,
But
this is
yeah, that 415 and that entry one,
yeah,
sometime I watch those.
yeah, this is an old strategy too. Like MT4 and everything on it. But anyway, this is a good one. Let me drop that too. Um I need to update that stuff.
Right now I am watching only yours, like whatever you are doing after that.
Okay. Um,
I know I said I was gonna go back and start watching some of your old ones because you know sometimes you just pick up like little nuggets from going back and watching stuff.
Right, right.
yeah, this is
Yeah, this one is really good.
this one was a good one.
Yeah, this one.
I need to do updated reviews, man. So I might task myself to do that pretty soon. But anyway, um, I'm not really looking at any more options right now. I'm kind of waiting to see how
Oops, sorry.
um, I'm kind of waiting to see how usually fourth quarter we get it right before fourth quarter we get a drop. So I'm kind of waiting to see if we get that drop first, and then I'll start buying. That's really what I'm expecting. And I mean we already started dropping, so that's why I'm still into this Neo trade and I'm still holding on to that NVDA because I do expect us to kind of drop and a little more. So I'll be just adding on after that, but the other ones that I'm looking at, let me see. I'm about to Sunday. I'll have some new option plays because that'll be when we go into the next week. So I should have something for next for Sunday when we get on the call Sunday. So now let's go over the future setups, right? Uh let's look at what we had, right? So dollar Sunday, right? We did our call Sunday. We said we would open up here, we should push up, hold around here inside of this fair value gap, and then if we got either we trade through it or we sell off from here. And you can already see what we did, right? We pushed up in there, stayed in there for a little while. We hit the midway point, which is 99,552, and then we sold off. So when we see this on dollar, right, that means that we should expect gold to push up. And whenever we see consolidation on dollar, or we see dollar sell off, we should expect for gold to be pushing up, right? So dollar does this, gold does this. If dollar does this, depending on what the conditions are for gold, if gold was already bullish, oh, I spell gold. Dang, Albert. If gold was already pushing up previous, it's gonna keep going up. If gold was already pushing down previous, gold is gonna keep going down. If dollar is going down, in most cases, gold. What in the world am I spelling with a F? Gold is going to be going up. If at any point they are doing the same thing, that's a sign to leave it alone, right? That's a sign to leave it alone. If both of them are going up, then that's a no trade for me. If this is my favorite way to see the price action right here, where if dollar is going up, gold is going down. I see a high on dollar, I should see a low on gold, right? That's the best way to look at it, because then you got a framework of what to do with your trade, right? So you can see we were selling off on dollar, and then if we go to gold chart, you can see what we did on gold. Gold just went crazy. We already hit 42.25 area on gold. And remember, we got in over here on Thursday. I mean, I got the last time I took a trade on gold was right here. And I targeted this area and I got out, and I should have kept my behind in there, right? But I haven't been able to trade this week, but that's all right. So Sunday, gold closed on Friday right here. And remember, we said that, either we're going to reject and go through to take out this low. Then we had this fair value gap right here, which was at 3963.5 down to 3908. We never came into that, right? We gapped down and held right at the top of this gap right here, this price gap, fair value gap right here, which is right here. So all of this gap, this bullish engulfing candle right here, we pretty much gapped down and then just shot up from there, right? And we expected that could happen, right? Then once we got above this on the 4-hour, this is a 4-hour, 1-hour gap right here. Once we got above this, you can see we pretty much came down, tapped it, and then ran, right? So going into next week, right? Going into the rest of the week, we already see dollar is headed to the downside, right? We even starting to gap down right now. This is the live chart, right? So what are we expecting, right? This is the daily chart. Go down to the 4-hour. You can kind of see, right? The next area of interest is kind of right here. There's that level right here. If we get below that, there's another gap right here. If we can get below this area, there's a gap right here. And then we got the monthly opening price. So I don't necessarily see us getting too far below this price level, at least not before the end of the week, right? Before the end of the week. Of course, we can do something completely different. Of course, that's always the case. But between tonight, October 3rd, and Friday, we should hold up right around here. And this is our order block right here. Terminology, you might not understand, Alexis, and that's okay. Don't worry about the terminology. Just kind of see the levels, to kind of see what the expectation is. So I'm expecting for if we sell off, we should hold somewhere between this and down to where this blue line starts on dollar. At least right around here. Worst case scenario, we push down into this range between 97,737 to 97,456. And if we do push up, I don't want to see anything happen until we get back inside of this range between 98.98 to 99.524. And if we come in there, then I'm looking for us to likely sell off somewhere inside of there, where once we get to this 98.98 level, we could start possibly looking for price to sell off between here and here. Okay. That makes sense. If not, just let me know. So
For me,
this
yes.
is this dollar. Let's go to gold. Gold is on a tear already. Gold. So we already went over that where we are. If we already said that dollar is pushing down. I had this drawn up already, and my first target was going to be the new all-time high. We already tapped that already today. So for now, you still got to look at what the all-time high is and assume that we'll keep pressing higher. We just made a new all-time high on gold, which is crazy because literally we were just at 39.25 and we have 40. We are over 1,000 points higher already, right? Which is crazy. So on the daily chart, right? On gold, right? You can already see this was yesterday candle, which means the candle that closed today at 4 p.m. We opened up the new candle for today. We already gapped up. We already took out yesterday's high already. So now that we gapped, we got to assume that we at least try to come down into this gap and try to fill it, right? There is a engulfing candle right here, fair value gap right here, and then there's another gap right here between this high and this low. But I don't think we're gonna come back inside of this range, or or try to get back down here for the rest of the week, unless something happens, we get some news or something like that. I think it's safe to say that worst case scenario, we come in here or we come in here. At least between Thursday and Friday, right? So once we go down the 4-hour chart, you can see this gap between this high, this low, this range right here. We got a candle wick right here that's probably going to hold that range up. So we probably won't come down any lower. If we do, this will be a target. If we sell off, this will probably be a base where we set the support right around this area, this last down candle right here. And that's why I'm not thinking that we come down into this area too much because it's so far off from there at this point. So again, worst case scenario, We start the sell off, we come down, hold around this area right here. If we take this low out right here, if we do get down in this range, I'll be looking for us to buy again around 4157.4 to 4137 area. But we got this gap. That's what this gap is right here. We may still hold up and push up above this gap, push off of this gap. And then
Which
at this
IFVG
point,
is this one? Like this orange one? IFVG?
what about this one?
Yeah, this one. On which time frame is this?
I'm gonna go to it. It's on the 1 hour. You'll see
Um,
in a second. Yeah, this one. This price gap is off the daily.
Okay.
This we're at right now we at 42.25. So that means 42.50 is just right above this high. We'll probably go ahead and take 42.50 out. And then the next price point is like 42.75. So 42.75 is like right around here. That's the next quarter point. So obvious target is probably here, the most recent. So if we trade above the new all-time high that we just met, 42.50, 42.75. Then, if we do sell off for some reason and we just start to sell off, I'll look for us to come down probably around this 47, 40-70 area. Worst case scenario, right? And the reason why I don't think we're gonna get too much lower than this is because we got this 1 hour FV inverted fair value gap right here.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, that's right here. Where we thought we were gonna sell off, they traded in it, they failed to sell off, they pushed up above it, and now this is high probability area right here, which is why this range is here. So, and then the overlap happens between this 41.57 and 41.68 price point. So that's where the main overlap is. Well, I take that back. 41.57 down to 41.47. But I would be cool as long as we tap the top and then come down. But I'm gonna give you this on the 4 hour chart. I like it the best off of the 4 hour. Oops. This is gold. All right. Then we got YM. We got Dow Jones. Dow, I like the way Dow looks from the previous move. So that's dollar, that's gold. This is Dow. Right. So if you look at Dow, we said that again, if we push up from where we closed on Friday, we would push up to our high probability area. That was this. We had the gap to the downside right here to here. Then we had the overlap right here. And this is basically where we tried to sell off up here. We traded into this. We tried to sell off. And then we pushed up and now we held it up above. So now that we kind of see what we doing, right? We were supposed to sell off between this range right here. And basically, they just said that we ain't selling off yet, right? And because we ain't selling off, once we trade above it, which we did right here, now that we ain't using this to sell off no more, we can use it to buy. So we kind of already started to buy off of this, right? And when we go to the actual chart, we'll see that same area on the 4 hour, right? We were supposed to sell off from, where are we? Hang on. Fresh. We were supposed to be selling off between this range. That's the 4-hour fair value gap. This was our overlap right here. And highest probability is we sell off between here. And that's basically what we tried to do when we got to this area. We tried to sell off where we were supposed to, which was to go down here. Right? We tried to sell off from right there. But you can see we didn't. And then once we got back inside of the gap that we were supposed to sell off from, 46,067 is where we saw probably the most volume that we got. And that's why we got this big engulfing candle right there. Right. So when you see that, that's a sign that we are kind of not going to be selling no more. And now that we've used this range right here that we were supposed to be selling off from, now it's being balanced. And now we can actually use that to buy from. So that's why we got started this move. Yes. Was that?
No, nothing. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of why we starting to see this move to the upside, right? So now going forward for the rest of the week, we already traded into this gap right here with this wick. So now it is either we go ahead and sell off and trade below this again, and we try to sell off and get to take this low out and this low out, or we use the area that we were supposed to be selling from to go ahead and buy and take out this all-time high to set out. We got this liquidity. We know these are targets up here. We know we just set this high. This is the weekly high right now so far. So we already know that this is at risk and all of this is at risk if we keep going to the upside. If we sell off, if we sell off from here, we would need to trade through this range right here. We would need to sell off through that. And the reason why we would need to sell off through that is because this is a fresh zone. This is fresh. And for us to prove that this is going to be a bearish move to the downside, we would essentially have to trade through this, close below this, and then try to come back in here and then sell off from there. And then we would be targeting this low and that low. But for now, all the wicks are above this price point. So we are more probable to go and take out this high. It's more probable that we take out this high from right now. We know that because we took out yesterday's high. We made a high on Monday around here. We took that out right here. We set a high on Tuesday. We took that out right here. So we still bullish on for the week. And we still showing rejection from the downside. So for now, going into the rest of the week, this is kind of what I'm gonna be looking for. And the only way I'm gonna sell is if we get new sell information, right? And right now we don't have any yet. So this is gonna be on the 1-hour chart. This is down. On in Q, similar look, right? We had the gap that was right here, right? And we traded through it on this candle, this move to the downside. We traded through it. And the new gap was here to here. And the middle of the gap was right here. Right? the overlap happens mainly right around here, right? So this is highest probability. It can sell off anywhere between here and here, but the highest probability is right here. And what happened right there? When we open up on Sunday, we push all the way up to that range that we were talking about. This high is us trying to sell off to go ahead and drop down here to take out this low. We can't do it. We can't do it. Right? But we do try to sell off. So if I'm looking for a
Okay,
trade,
Cole, let me ask you something real quick. Are we looking at a daily?
this is a 4-hour chart.
That's a 4-hour chart. Okay, cool.
Yeah, this 4-hour chart. Um, if we were looking at this for a setup, and this was the opening, this was Friday going into Monday, this would have been a good trade, because even though it didn't do what we wanted to do, the majority of all the conditions that we had met. We just said, hey, we want to take a sell inside of here because it's the highest probability that we get a sell from, right? So we would have been trying to set our trade up from up here or somewhere inside of here and to take this sell. Now, do we get this target? No. But by the time we get this sell, we would have had some money to make. And we would have had to make a decision at that point. Right? Then the next thing was, if we get inside of this range and we don't sell off like we didn't right here and inside of here, is if we get inside of here and we start to hold around here, we could see buying, right? So we tried to sell off. We tried to sell off right here, and then we push back inside of it right here, and then we start to trying to buy. So once we start to do that around here, then you can start looking for buys in that at this level, which is 24,717, right? You would have been able to get an entry around here, an entry around here, or even above the monthly, because that's the monthly opening price. And then that again, that's our high probability area too, which is at 24,841 to 24,974, right? And then you would have been trying to target this high right here, and then the high of the range right around here. So far, we've already done this. We tried to do this, and now we're looking at this part right here. And if we get, we still can be selling off from here, right? We still can go lower from here, right? But we already starting to see that we might be trying to hold down here. So until we get outside of here and you see like a close below this, I would let a candle close below this range and then try to sell off from right here. That's the only way I would look to sell from there. But if we still trying to hold up inside and above this 24,717, and then even more so above 24,987, then you can look to be trying to buy it. And then if you get in around here, that's a little too high for me, but but it's not really that high in a grand scheme. You just at least try to target this 25 131 area, right? And that'd be your main target, because that means you'll be taking out the previous day high right here, right? So let me pull up the chart again. This is Dow. Let me go to NQ. So where we close yesterday is here. Let me get some of this out the way. I thought I had did this already. Right. Okay, so we already did this move. Let me just pull that out, right? We already tried to do this, right? And then at this point, I'm not going to be looking to sell off until we see something like this, where we come down below this. And then, you know, then we come down to try to take this low. So I would need to see us come out of this range first and then try to sell off from there before I really take some big sales, right? Before I really try to take a big sale. Then the buy, of course, we can always just shoot straight up. You know, that's always a possibility. But overall, I would want to see us push up from where we are, get to the high of this range, which is the 25.56 area. And then if we do need to drop, hold pretty much at this candle right here. And then see us get back above this and then start to hold above this range and take out this all-time high. And then if we take out the all-time high, the price that I'll be looking at is the all-time high is 25,393. So the next big price point is really 25,500. That's the next big target, right? 25,500. We don't even need to go further than that, but we probably would though, right? 25,500 area. You know, then you could be looking at 25,600, 25,600, 25,700, 25,800. But you really want to see, let's see, 25,750 is probably the next level after that. So if we get above that 25,500 area, this will be the next price point we look at. Because it just makes sense. And you deal with the quarter numbers, the whole numbers, the half numbers. That's why we looking at that as a target if we get above that 550 area. Right? Then the other thing is we still can sell off in here, even if we do push higher. There's a small gap that was here inside of that range, which it sits right around 25,172 to 25,089. So we still could sell off. So I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I would need some more evidence for us to do that.
Hey, Corey, that was actually my question, because I was thinking about that. Like, I want to buy, and I was in this area here by where we at now, but I was like, wait, we might hit that 20, yeah, and then we might come back down. So I'm like, do I just put in like, maybe I take a partial there, and that could at least make something, and then, but then I'm like, wait, then if I do a partial,
that's okay.
okay.
Because we bullish for the week, and we can at least look to take out, you know, yesterday's high. Even though and yesterday's high is pretty much inside of this range. So,
Okay.
you know, if we want to stay bullish on this, you're not wrong for it. You're not wrong for it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But just know if you do get into that, right? If you do get into this buy, you just got to understand that you get into a very important level for this range, right? High probability is overlap here where we were supposed to be buying right here between this area.
Yeah.
Remember what we said the last week? Like we were supposed to be buying right here.
Yeah.
We traded through it and we left this. And we could probably go to a smaller time frame and see that it got replaced right here on the 1 hour. You see it?
Yeah.
We got right here from here to here, this whole fair value gap, and then this one right there. So if the next time we come up in here, like we did right here, you can see we already tried this already, right? In here, we already tried to come up to this same area right here, and we sold off right here. We bought it back up, but the next time we get to this, we could see a sell off again, right? Because we only really came to the bottom of this area.
Bottom of it. Yeah.
We came to the bottom level. We came to the bottom in the middle. We came to the middle too, yeah. But we still got this price right here that we got to deal with at 222.56, and we could sell off from here. So that's why I say if we do push up, yesterday's high is where we would probably be. That's an easier target than to try to get this one right now.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The easiest target on the upside is right here.
Right there. Yeah. Thank you for that, because I was thinking of going up to the 25
It
to
might.
56.
It might. It's no reason why you wouldn't think it would do that. But just for GP, if you're gonna take some money off, it probably should happen around here. You can leave a partial in, let it go and see if it's gonna get to 256, to 393, and even to go up here in these levels. You can leave a partial, but your obvious one is right here.
Right there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So this for the rest of the week right here. And I'm just gonna take this hourly shot. This NAS. And now finally ES, S&P. Pretty much same setup, right? Pretty much the same thing, right? We sold off really, really hard on Friday. We gapped up, pushed up to our little high probability area. And what we say, if we got up here, it was going to try to sell off, right? And even once it got into this 6773 area to 665 area, it would probably try to sell off around the middle. So right around 667.19, which is where this candle right here, the high of this candle got wicked right here. And it tried to sell off, like we said. It tried to do what we really projected it to do, and that would have been a good sell from here. Because that is from 67.13 down to 65.80 area. That's almost 1,000 points, 1,000 pips, or 10 or 100 points, So that's a really, really good move, right? And then, just like before, this is the low we needed to be paying attention to. If we got above it, it could possibly start to try to buy from there, right? And then if it got above this and started the whole, it could possibly start to try to buy from the middle, which is right here. But once we get inside of here, our probability area is here. it was going to try to sell again. And it did, right? But when it tried to sell again, it got only down to this area and we started to throw a wicks again. And we even got a fair value gap right here. So you got your fair value gap right here. And now we starting to see this happen, right? We starting to see the buying coming back in. So the only way we really know if we're going to really try to start to sell off, if we do respond to this, we need to trade below this area to go further. Because on the downside, this is our target and this is our target. And now this is our target. So if we're going to start seeing sell off, we need to come below this, close below this level, and then look for sales. On the upside, if we're going to be on taking buys, we already know this is previous day high, this all-time high. And then this is the range high. This previous day high is pretty much at the same price point. So those pretty much line up together, right? Those pretty much line up together. But our obvious target is right there. And we can just throw that in right there. If we're going to keep going to the upside. Then we can look at taking out this high. And we probably got these two price points as our main target. So let me go to the chart. But so far, we're meeting all the conditions of what we thought we were going to do on this, right? Already. So I'm going to go to S&P. Just update this. Same thing as before. Yesterday close was here. If we want to see a sell-off, we need to close below this area and try to sell off from around here. And then we can target this low right here. If we're going to buy, of course, we can I always like to give a just, what if it just run in a straight direction? We go ahead and go. What's above the all-time high we just made? 68, 12, 25, right? What's the next quarter point? This a question.
25.
Yep. 25. So we already know we definitely should hit 68.25. If we get above 68.25, we got 68.50 as the next quarter point. And the reason why we picking that is because these is targets because this all-time high. We never been at this price point before. So you got to start projecting. If we projecting, we got to go to the next quarter point, right? Or the next half, the next quarter. That would be our target, right? Okay. Now we target. This is our previous day high. This is our first target we should be hitting for before the week out. And right now we in a 50-50 area on this. Like you can see, we pretty much the high of it is 663, the middle 67.19, and the low is 6665. And we pretty much smack in the middle. We really could go either direction, right? Worst case, we sell off and we hold again inside this range, and then we just push up, right? We could see price trade above this, and then we go ahead and push up. But for now, I don't even. I think that we do at least one of these before the week is out. We either go ahead and push up, we push down, hold in the range, and then we push up, or we just go ahead and push up above this, and then go ahead and get this high and hit this 68, 69, 68.50 area, 68.25 to 68.50 area. So that's this is S&P. And
I have a quick question.
yep.
And it might be a stupid question that you guys, because you guys are way ahead of me, but I traded the SPY today. Like I told you, I traded the SPY.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at it, it's SPY, and it's like the price was like 663. But is this SPY that you're trading?
Since I trade futures, I trade the futures contracts for S&P, right? And the difference between
Because
S&P,
wait, you're before it said 6,000. Now it says
yeah,
662.
that's because I was looking at the futures contract.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this makes more
This is
sense.
the SPY.
Okay, so this is what I traded today. But we
Mhm.
was looking at the futures of
Yeah,
this version.
of the same thing. Yep. Just like so, SPY is the future. SPY is S&P, and then S&P can be looked at from different markets, right? So you have the S&P index, SPX, S&P 500. Then you have the SPY, which is a index version of the S&P. Then you have the futures market, which is still the same market, but you have the contract is known as the S&P mini or micro index, right? So you trade options. So in order for you to trade the S&P, you have to trade SPY. You can also trade the NASDAQ, right? And in order to trade the NASDAQ, that's the QQQs, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So the Qs is the same price. This you look at the Qs the same way, right? But it is the NASDAQ, right? So it's a little confusing when you haven't traded a lot of different markets. But overall, this is what you would look for, you know. In the what is this one? Funds QQQ, and I think it's Invesco. Let me see. Yeah, so your QQQs would be here if you wanted it to, and they don't necessarily give you the same prices, but they're multiples of that price. So like if you look at where price is right now, 247.90, right? And then we go ahead and look at the NASDAQ chart for the futures contract. Yesterday's close was, let me go. This is the futures contract. The futures contract is listed differently, right? So since we trade in futures, the contract for NASDAQ is NQ. That's the label. That means that I'm trading the mini contract. But there's a smaller contract so that people can trade with a smaller account. That's the micro E mini contract, right? And that's what you would be trading if you were trading futures. You in particular trading SPY, so SPY SPY, and then comparing that to the futures contract. And then if we looking at the futures contract, where we closed on, let me go to S&P. I think it matches S&P more closely.
Go.
Hang on. Let me mute him. S&P 500. But just look at this index. So like we closed on S&P yesterday closer. So you can see this a multiple, right? So we're using different brokers, so it won't be exactly lining up with the options. But if we look at how this closed at 665.00, 4.09, this closed at 66.44. This is a closer spread, but just a multiple of 10 on this one. This is the S&P index. You can look at the charts the same way that we just went over with when we went into the futures. But the only difference is, your options change, they close at 5, right? The futures, you can trade those 24 hours a day for 5 days a week. From Sunday afternoon till Friday afternoon, right? Futures, you looking at the same thing, right? I mean, your SPY, you looking at the same thing, but this would be the gap, right? This would be from this candle to this candle. So here, where this candle closed, this huge gap right here to the downside, this engulfing candle. And then the next candle after this close is this candle. And then here. So this is my gap from this candle to this candle. All of this price action needs to be balanced out, right? This was supposed to buy. So the next time we came down into this, we should have been buying from this, right? We tried to, right here and here. We didn't, right? So since we didn't buy from there on SPY, and we actually traded through all of this area when we made this candle right here, where they overlap is the strongest area to look for sales if you were going to try to continue to sell, right? So the next time we come into this area where it overlap, which is this area right here, you want to try to look for a sale. That's why this sold off right here. That's why we sold off from this candle. Now, we didn't quite complete the move, but you're not necessarily trying to get the whole move. You just want to go and find where is the most probable area. And that's why once you get this marked off, the gap, right? You have the high of the gap, the middle of the gap, and the low of the gap. And you'll notice that at each one of these price points, the market, since we were bearish on this leg down, you'll notice that once we got back to these areas, it tried to sell from here, it tried to sell from here, and it tried to sell from here. Because these are high probability sell areas. The middle, low, and the high. Right? So the sell we tried to sell off from the low, we didn't get a real attempt to try to sell off from down here. We didn't really get one, right? And that's okay, because sometimes it doesn't happen, right? But we did get they did try to sell in the middle a few times, right? That's why we got this wick right here. This area right here, it tried to sell right here. And then it traded through it once we got on this candle, right? And once we got above this, it automatically said, hey, let me try to go to the next high probability area, which is here. And why do we have a wick right here? It's because we at the high probability area. So once we tried to sell off here and it didn't work, what it did was it used this area to get to this area. And then once it got to this area, it said, hey, I'm gonna try to sell from here. If it don't sell, if I don't sell, I'm gonna use this to go higher. But since we didn't use this to go higher and we stay below this area, I'm gonna go ahead and try to sell. And if I sell, I need to go all the way down to take out this low and these lows, because that's the most high probability targets. These areas right here and right here, right? We didn't do that, right? We did go to the high probability sell area, right? But once we got down to the low, we didn't try to sell from there, right? What do we do on this day? We try to buy. Because now that we in here and we traded through this, now this can be used for a buy or a sell, and we just have to wait for new information to set up. So so we can look for sales here. We can try to look for buys down here, and then right around here, if we get some information to tell us, hey, go lower, we take the sell. If we get some information to tell us to go higher, we take the buy from here. If we start to see price come back above here and hold, and we take this high out right here, we can do this. We can buy from there. And then we'll target these highs right here, because that's the last high probability high. If we get above this 66.9.23, that means that we are likely to go ahead and take this high out, because where's their next high, right? Where's the next wicks? Where are the next wicks? They're right above here. These are new all-time highs, right? So we have to assume that if we get above this high, the only thing that's left to take out are these highs right here. So that's got to be where we're trying to go, right? It's got to be where we're trying to go. So if we sell, we know that this low is a target right here. We know these lows are targets, right? Those are obviously targets right here. So I got money waiting on me down here. I got money waiting on me down here if we sell. Right? And all I'm doing is waiting for something. We got our last close right here. I'm waiting for something to tell me I need to get a close below here, and then I use this to confirm that I can go ahead and get this to go lower. Right? If we use the area we were supposed to buy from, that means we get an overlap right around here in this area right there. So now that we traded above this is kind of a neutral area, right? This neutral. We could buy or sell from here. That's why I'm looking for, if we do get a sell, and in order to like wait for confirmation, that's why I would take this move. That's how I would take that move. If we're gonna look for a buy and you want to be modest, you take this high. This your target, right? Since we've been bullish for the week, this is the first bullish target right here. This the previous day high. So you will want to see something that look like us pushing up. We hold above this range right here. Maybe we take this out. You see price hold around here. And then we go ahead and get this. And the reason why we looking at this as the main target, it's the last high. This our all-time high. All right, trees. This is our all-time high. Right? But this is our first like gimme target. If we go to the upside, if we keep buying, this is a gimme target, right? That's the first one we know we can take. Then if we get above this all-time high, the next quarter is 675. 675. And then we also got 680 up there. But I think 675 is cool with me if I was gonna do that. Then the third thing we could do, we could just hang around, go sideways inside of here. That's the third thing we can do. So that's kind of what I would be looking for if I'm looking at SPY. And then let me just put the numbers on here. And we could come as low as like right here around this 665.84. So anywhere between, if we just shoot up and take this high out, I would look for retracements back down between 667.63 to 665.84. And if we hold that, then maybe either we just go ahead and just push up and retrace and then take the buy from there. But for the most part, that's kind of how I would look for this on SPY. It lines up with our futures setup too. So, it's all pretty much within the same. It's not the exact same prices, but if you look at the charts and lay them on top of each other, you pretty much got the same play. It's the same play. You could barely tell the difference, right? If you don't consider the prices and you just look at what the chart looked like. I just didn't put it on there. There's the same level on that we had on SPY. We got it on the futures contract. If we get above that, it's the same look. Same thing. I pretty much said the exact same thing with a different chart. Just look a little different. So I'm gonna put all of this in the group. I will put all this in the group, and once the recording is uploaded, I'll put all that in the group too. Any questions? Any more questions?
No, not really.
Okay,
No, I'm good.
cool.
All clear.
Y'all have a great night.
Okay. Any questions, Alexis? No. Okay. No question is a bad question.
Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute. And I'm at work at the same time, so my bad. But no, I don't have any questions. I'm gonna
Okay.
try to set up my trading view thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna do some videos. I'll probably try to post them over the weekend. I'll do some fundamental videos. Anna, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you do a basic video? Can you do it?
I'll try.
Just do a video on let's see. Do a video on finding let me see. I'm gonna get back with you. I'm gonna get back with you. Okay.
Okay, okay.
All right, all right. And then yeah, like I said, guide, and then you can I'll put everything in here. Okay.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Okay, go have a great night.